Hey guys, so first of all, excuse me if I look crazy. I worked last night and I have to work again tonight on midnight shift, and I just got out of the shower. So, anyways, the topic for today's video is going to be a little bit of a rant, um, and it has to do with misconceptions about the night shift as a CNA being so much easier than other shifts. I personally do not feel like any shift is easier than any other shift. I feel like day shift is the busiest shift because you have doctors who want to come in and see patients. Um, you have a lot more staff there. You have management in the building. Just a lot more goes on during the day shift because you also have usually two meals to serve during day shift, so breakfast and lunch. And like I said, a lot of times family is there visiting. You have doctors coming in to see the patients. You might have physical therapy, occupational therapy, things like that, respiratory therapy, all those wonderful therapies coming in to see your patient. So, it makes things a little bit more hectic and a little bit more, um, I don't know, fast paced than the other two shifts. Now, I've worked every single shift, so I've also worked 12-hour shifts and 16-hour shifts. So I feel like I have the ability to talk about each of the different shifts. But like I said, I don't feel that there is a shift that is quote unquote easier than any of the others. I feel that each shift has its own difficulties and its own different challenges. With evening shift, the pace is a little bit more mellow. It's a little bit more relaxed and laid back of an atmosphere because most of the time doctors do not come in. During the evening shift, you only have one meal instead of two. But the more difficult thing is, a lot of times family can still come in and visit during those hours, at least some of the hours of evening shift. And because evening shift is usually like 3 to 11 or some variation of those types of hours. So family is able to come for at least part of that time. So you are still dealing with family members, but a lot of times it may be more difficult to get them the answers that they're looking for because a lot of times doctors have already been in and out for the day. A lot of doctors don't like being disturbed after hours, and sometimes answering services can be hard to deal with. And also, a lot of times, the nurse practitioners for the doctors are on call, so they might not answer right away because they deal with the entire patient load a lot of times. That's just my experience from dealing with nurse practitioners and stuff on the off hours when I worked at the nursing home. I feel like the biggest challenge of the evening shift is trying to get everybody fed, washed up, or ready for bed, and then actually getting the people or person to go to bed. Because, especially in my experience dealing with people who have dementia and Alzheimer's, a lot of them have difficulty going to sleep, or their schedule is off, so they don't really comprehend that it's time to go to bed. A lot of times, you have to like dim the lights, shut the lights off, get them to understand that it's actually nighttime so then they can go to sleep. But again, I don't feel like evening shift is really any easier than day shift. It's just a little bit more laid back of an atmosphere. And then on midnight shift, basically 11 to 7, I work 11 to 7:30. I don't really feel like that's easier either. A lot of people think that everybody sleeps on the night shift, and that's not true. There are quite a few more people who are asleep during this time, but we also have expanded responsibilities. Like at the hospital that I work at, we not only do patient care, but we also stock all of the supply rooms. We make sure that there's food in the kitchen because, in case there's a patient who is sent up from the emergency room, we have like different little meal packages, like with a sandwich and some Chex Mix and a fruit cup or something like that. We keep chocolate milk and soda in the fridge, juices and things like that. We keep them around in case somebody gets hungry. Crackers, soups, chips, a lot of stuff we keep in the little nourishment room that we have, just in case somebody gets hungry when the kitchen isn't open. So, it might not be as much patient care oriented on the night shift, but we still do interact with patients. There are some patients who can't get to sleep either because they're worried because, you're out of your normal element being in a hospital, or they can't sleep because they're in pain, which is very common with people who are recently recovering from surgery. I just feel like it drives me nuts when people say that the night shift is so easy or everybody's asleep. Why are you worried about working night shift? Well, it's not necessarily that everybody's asleep because, like I said, there are people who are awake. Last night, it was pretty laid back. It's a very laid back atmosphere on the night shift. But like I said, we do have to stock like all the gloves, all the isolation containers that we hang on our doors at the hospital. We have to make sure that all of the puller cares, or like basically a puller care, if you don't know what it is like a cooler that velcros to the person's limb. Like say if you had shoulder surgery, it will velcro around the arm, so then it's constantly it's like having an ice pack there, but it constantly moves the water through the puller care system. And so while it is like an ice pack, it's safe to have on 24/7 if you wanted it on 24/7. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that one shift is easier than the other? Like I said, I really don't, and I've worked all three. I've worked 16 hours, 12 hours shifts. It really doesn't matter. I feel like, they're all unique in their own ways, but they all have their own challenges as well. I think one of the more difficult parts of night shift is having to adjust to having a schedule that is not normal, because pretty much everybody is asleep while you're awake, and you are asleep while everybody else is awake pretty much. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you would like more nursing related videos in the future, then hit the thumbs up or comment below on a topic that you would like me to talk about. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, let me know and I would be glad to address them for you. And with that being said, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys are having a blessed day.